In this particular video, we are going to cover how to create an ungraded discussion. To get started, and we're going to go to our course, and on the left-hand side, we're going to click Discussions. This is usually where you will see any discussions you've previously created. To create a new discussion, we're going to click on the right-hand side on the plus discussion button. Once we do this, we get to the page where we can set up all the options for this particular discussion. To start with, we will have to pick a topic and a prompt, and then we're going to go over the options. So in this particular example, we're going to be asking for the students to comment on the documentary that they have seen. So I set up the topic here. This is what they will see in their modules or anywhere where you are linking this. They will see this as the main thing. And once they open this, they will see the prompt, which is where we're going to put all that information in this big box. Here is where you will place what you would like the students to do, any information they need to know, anything like word limits on their posts or anything like that that you would like them to follow. So I'm just copying some previously created prompt so that we don't waste time watching me type. But you can make lists. So for example, this is from a text document, but I can make this into a list right here. So I'm asking them for a summary, a piece of information that really stuck with them, any techniques that they found particularly effective. And I'm also asking them to reply to each other to provide feedback to their classmates. Again, we have a lot of options here at the top for the prompt. I could even insert an image, anything that will help your students to know what they need to respond with. So this is where we put in the prompt. Once we scroll down, we can see all the options for this particular ungraded discussion. First of all, we are posting this to all the sections. So if your course has several sections, you can choose to only post this for one section so that, for example, you can have a different discussion topic for one section and a different section gets a different discussion prompt. It's up to you here, but by default, it goes to all sections, meaning all the students in your Canvas course. You can also attach a file right here if you need to. And then you can set up the options. So we're going to go over these options and what they do, mainly the most impactful one. The first one is allow threaded replies. This is very important if you would like the students to give each other feedback, as I put in my prompt that I would like them to respond to a classmate. It is important to turn this on. Of course, if you just would like them to reply to the prompt and not reply to each other or not engage that way, then of course you can leave that off. The next option might make a bit more sense to a graded discussion, but basically what this means is once you turn this on, users must post before seeing replies. The students will not be able to see any of the other students' posts until they have made their own post. This makes again more sense for a graded discussion where you want them to give genuine feedback that they've come up with and not worry about them being inspired. But it might be important to have it off. For example, if you were asking the students to provide you with questions they would like covered during the midterm, for example, then it might be important for them to see each other's replies before they post so they don't keep repeating the same questions. So that's something you can keep in mind. Then the other important thing is, of course, we're making an ungraded discussion. So the graded option is left off. You can allow liking as well, which can be a very useful tool in the context. For example, the example I gave where the students are putting in questions they would like covered during the midterm, they can choose to like other students' replies to show that they also are interested in that particular question. So that can be a very useful tool as well. You can also add to the student to do. Since this is not a graded discussion, by default it does not go in the to-do list. The to-do list tends to cover anything that has a grade associated with it, but since this is ungraded, by default it will not, but you can choose to force it to go so that the students are even more keenly aware that they need to do this. So if they're using a dashboard view that just shows them our upcoming to-do items, or they're using the app to track their to-do items, then this is standing out to them and is there on that list. So we're going to add that to the student to do, and we can put it on a particular date. We're going to put this to be available on Monday at the end of the day. Then of course you can make this into a group discussion, but we won't be covering those options in here. But you also can make it so that it is permanently available during the course time by not putting any dates down here, or you can have this discussion available only during a certain period of time. Again, this might make more sense in the context of a graded discussion, but even for an ungraded one, you can choose for how long you want this to be available. So for example, I can choose to have this available from today until on Monday, so that the students have the entirety of the weekend to actually reply to this and provide their thoughts on this documentary. Once I am happy with the title, the prompt for the student, all the options, the dates, everything, I can then click Save and Publish. Again, if this particular discussion was available from a future date, then of course the students will not see it until that future date. But for now, this is what it looks like when we're looking at it from the faculty's point of view. We can also go look at it from the student view. And we go into discussions. And we can see right here, discussions, thoughts on documentary. And when they open up, this is what the students see. They see the title, who posted it, that would be me, and then all the prompt, and then they see a reply button. Once they click that, they get the same kind of text box with all the rich content editor options that you get for them to reply. They get a counter to remind them of how many words they are typing into this box if they need to keep track of that, and then they just hit post reply when they're ready to reply. So that is how we create a ungraded discussion used to get feedback from the students and get them to interact with the content as well as each other.